Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Inside Out Effect podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Jakes.
Someone like a biscuit.
And stop it. And this is now the self-proclaimed #1 global personal development podcast on a Saturday night at 6 p.m. And this is episode 24. And today we have a very special episode with a very, very special guest. So I'd like to introduce to our Facebook viewers, and I'd like to introduce to our listeners the wonderful and the amazing Wendy Smith. So hello, Wendy.
Woo!
Thank you for joining us.
Whoa.
Yeah. So both of us would like to thank you for joining us to share your story and your information today. It's amazing.
Yeah,
we've been talking about that. But before we dive deep into Wendy's story,
I'm glad you put a story on the end of that. I'll tell you. Before we dive deep into Wendy, what's going on?
Innuendo bingo started.
Exactly.
Innuendo bingo started already. Yeah, but we like to, before we start, obviously, I'd like to introduce the to my right. My co-host, the creator of the DTO system, the joint developer of the Inside Out Effect, the author of Decoding Pain, the emotional blueprint to healing chronic pain. I have the Einstein of therapy, the bearded and the lovely Jonathan Shaw. Hello, Jonathan. How are you, my friend? Are you all right?
I'm very good.
Yeah?
Thank you very much. I like that. The Einstein. That's brilliant.
Well,
we like that. The
Einstein's good.
He actually looks like him.
He does, yeah.
You do look like him.
Do I?
Yeah, I think you're right. You're
much
a bit
better than what I normally
Einsteinian.
get. I normally get like
A lot worse than that.
A lot worse than that. I normally get Jesus or BG.
No, definitely more Einstein.
More Einstein now.
You're Einstein.
I've gone up in the world. Wow, that's amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If only my intellect matched that. It's great. As long as the look does, it's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, great. So, like I said, before we start, we're going to your story. So, let's talk about you. What's been going on in your clinic? Have you had anything good, successes, which you'd like to share with the viewers? And anyone that's listening, anything that you'd just like to share, really?
What do I want to share? Actually, I don't know. I've gone blank. What do I want to share? No, I've had some really good successes. I said last time that I started a new clinic one day a week in Billericay at WPR Beauty. If any of the girls are watching from WPR Beauty,
Hello, girls.
That's going really well. Why do you say that so camp? Hello, girls.
Why not?
It wasn't. It was girls. It wasn't like.
I know.
No, okay.
What I normally don't work, so that's why I different approach.
So you think the
change or nothing will change.
Right, okay. So you think the gay approach is the way to go? Fair enough. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, no, I don't think the gay approach. It was more of the camp approach.
So you think the camp approach is the way to pull women? Maybe. You've been watching Carry On Camping too much.
I have been watching Carry On.
So I've been up at WPR Beauty for the past few weeks, which was absolutely fantastic, and had some really lovely clients there. And had different people come with different problems. I've had a guy come to me with chronic headaches and nothing could get rid of it. And literally in the first session, we was able to bring his headache right down from like a 9 to a 2. And that was just a consultation. We hadn't even done sessions yet. So he was made up about that. And I've had several women in there with grief. So I've 2 women in there, in their late 70s, 80s, still carrying grief from years ago.
Oh, it's mad now.
And still holding on to grief, and it's causing them all types of symptoms, anxiety, it's causing them sort of shaking and different things. And they've just been holding on to this grief for so long.
Remember I said to you about the 78-year-old lady that contacted me? She had this pain in her leg, and I said to you I got rid of it. So since then, I've done another session with her.
Great.
I managed to get rid of all of the pain in her leg.
Brilliant.
And that's all based on. It was actually her father committed suicide and the grief of that. And she held that from a very, very young age. So she's had that pain for, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
But once I went in and got into the bottom of it, asked what the pain was about, switched it off, it literally went
It's a good little learning for you guys on here, actually. You don't have to hold on to stuff. There is stuff you can do about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's kind of what we're trying to put across. But grief, it caused a lot of pain. Grief caused a lot of physical pain. So if you are still grieving, I mean, these ladies thought it was too late to get rid of it. They thought they couldn't do it. Just like I'm sure your lady did.
Yeah, the lady, absolutely.
And it's quite ironic because me and Steve are both getting elderly people come and see us now, and people in their 70s and 80s. And I'll be honest, I didn't think people that old actually wanted to change.
Yeah.
And we're getting people come to us who still want to change at that age and still want to move forward and progress.
I think it's a lack of knowledge. It's just a lack of knowledge. And when they discover that actually, I can do something about this.
Yes.
Then I'm sure nobody really wants to sit in pain.
No, the lady that I was, she'd done 30 or 40 years of personal development. She watched our podcast on beliefs and said, I've done all this stuff and I've just come to realise I haven't actually really dealt with my problem. She's just basically been doing reframing it and doing other things and never really getting to it.
Yeah.
And then one once I basically got into the thing with her, she came out and said, "Oh my God, that's so deep. Now I understand why I've never really been able to deal with it."
Yeah.
But again, there are people that have spent their whole life doing this stuff, but have never really been able to get to the root, pull the root out of the problem. But there are people that do. There are people that do that. That have been spending years and go into their 60s and 70s that do it. But I think.
Well, I've just worked with a lady who had 15 years of psychotherapy, 50 years of clinical depression, diagnosed with treatment-resistant depression. Yeah. She's 65, 67 now. And she's just in disbelief now that she can live life without it, and that's more what the weird thing is for her now in life. You get rid of it, and now it's like,
what's the problem?
For so long, what do I do with life now that I haven't got it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what's happening with me.
Yeah, great.
To general clients coming back, just in the new clinic, finished treating some other clients, which has gone really well. One lady was having, she felt like a fraud at work. Which is very common. She's not a therapist, but she was doing something else and she felt like a fraud, so we switched that off for her because she was going as a new job. And another guy was suffering back pain and shin splints, and he actually switched his own shin splints off while he was running in a marathon, doing DTO.
Wow.
He did it while he was running. It was brilliant. And he emailed me going, "That's genius," which was fantastic. So that's kind of what's happening in me in kind of nutshell. Loads have been going on, but sort of nutshell.
Yeah.
What about you?
Good. Well, I've had quite a mad week.
Yeah.
Haven't we? We all have had a mad week.
Mad week, yes.
But so I had a video about if you're not changing it, you're choosing to keep it.
Yep.
And so it was really important because I go on Facebook, everyone's moaning, complaining, posting this stuff, but they're not doing anything to change it. And like we talk about this, either they just want to moan and complain, or the thing that they're doing isn't working, but they carry on doing it.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is that they're stuck and they just feel that that's who they are and nothing's ever going to change. So I wanted to sort of get a video out there to say, look, if you're not doing anything to change it, then you're choosing to keep it. And that's why I said, if you bought a gun, look at a gun.
Well done.
No, if you
steady.
Right, we're having a gun. No, if you bought,
come on the wrong podcast.
I've no idea where this is coming from. No. Where it's going either.
So if you bought a drill and you bought it home and it wasn't working for you, you wouldn't just say, "Oh well, that's it, I'm going to keep it." You would go and change it. And this should be the same with our thoughts and our feelings. That was what the whole point of my
Most
video.
Most people don't know that they can change their thoughts and feelings.
But they do know they can change a drill.
Yeah, they know they can change a drill.
I can change a drill, but my thoughts and feelings...
Online. Someone implants them into me on a daily basis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm downloading them. Yeah, it's like...
So I thought I'd do that video, and because if someone fell on a stick and a stick went in them, the first thing they do will be up the hospital, get it out, change it. But when it comes to stuff like mental and emotional pain, we will carry it around for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, do nothing to change it. We'll get into addictions, drink, drugs, the gym, everything to avoid the pain, rather than just coming to someone to see us, and in a very, very short period of time, it's gone. But so that's why I wanted to do that video. And so today I've been really busy, and I want to bring this up because I've been dealing today specifically with anxiety.
Yeah.
And one of the people...
Well, you know what he's about to say, don't you? You know exactly what he's about to say.
You know where we're going.
Yeah.
So this is really important, ladies and gentlemen, because obviously what's going on in the world, I think the world's gone absolutely crazy and insane, and I want to touch on this because I had a client today who come to me with severe anxiety, and it's to do with that great CV virus. And they were really, really in a panic. They were freaking out. They thought it was going to die. They were doom and gloom and all the rest of it. And it didn't take me very, very long to actually just go in and switch off the anxious responses, which is feeling attacked and feeling powerless, and basically powerless with most of them across the board. And basically, as soon as I'd done that, as soon as they come out of it, they were like, "Oh, I'm just making this up," basically. And I'm like, yes.
Basically, yes.
So I want to clear something up with the viewers today, because obviously the people that told me that depression was a disease, and I found out it wasn't. No. The same people told me that anxiety is a personality disorder. It's not. The same people that told me that PTSD is uncurable or it's unsolvable. It's not. The same people that tell me that trauma is can't be treated and you have to live with it, manage it, and cope with it is wrong. The same people that tell me about tablets that are the way that we need to do and that are the solutions to the problem are wrong.
Your physical pain.
Physical pain.
Told about your physical pain, wrong.
Yeah, being told about physical pain is wrong. So all these people that are telling me about what's going on in the world, and I don't believe it. So I actually have to say, right, I know for a fact that whoever's telling me this, if they've been wrong about this, and this, they might be wrong about that. So I went and done loads of extensive research, and I looked into some virologists and some of what's going on. And what I've discovered is that you can't actually catch a virus.
No, you
Now
can't.
this I'm curious about. So can you explain?
Okay, so let me tell you why you can't catch a virus. Okay,
can I not
so I
sneeze
don't know
over
why
You can sneeze low and go for it. I'd love
you
to see
can't
that.
catch viruses, right?
Right, okay.
So well, you can, but not in the way that we think, right? So a virus can be contracted through the blood. So it'll either be through a vaccine or a needle, some variety, or through an insect. It has to go into the blood.
Right.
You can't catch a virus through digestion, and you cannot catch a virus through airborne. Because what a virus is a virus is a defence system that's made in your body. So what happens is when the cells get laden with, so all the cells get together, and what happens is they know that they're toxic. Okay, so what will happen is what the food that we eat, the chemicals, the stuff that we breathe in and we eat will be full of chemicals and toxins. They get stored in the cells, and at some point in the cells get so saturated with the toxins and the chemicals that they all combine together and they create a protein. The protein covers the outside of the cell. That protein is a solvent or a soap. And what happens is they then what happens is that solvent or soap then strips all of the cells out of the body and cleans the cells so they can regenerate again. Okay, so all viruses are made in the body by the body to clean the body. They are not a living organism. They don't have a digestive system or a respiratory system. They are a protein that is a solvent that goes around outside the cell, made by the body to heal the body. So here's the thing. One of the main things that will cause our cells to fill up with bad toxic chemicals will be the neurochemicals that we make when we go into fight and flight. So when we go into fight and flight, our brain makes neurochemicals, lots of them, to give our body a warning that we either need to fight, to play dead, or to run. And so that's why I keep saying about switching off negative beliefs is really important, because if you have anything negative running, your brain is making neurotoxins, and those neurotoxins will then saturate your cells.
Yeah.
If you have this for a prolonged period of time, your cells get saturated with the chemicals, and then your body then creates a virus to cleanse it all out. So colds are for bacteria and viruses are for chemicals and toxins or anything that's alien in the body. The only way that you can get contract a virus is via an injection or an inoculation, or if a mosquito, if it gets into your blood. That's the only way you can get it. It's the only way you can get a virus. Okay. So all this nonsense out there where everyone's going absolutely mad thinking they're going to catch a virus. Well, yeah, if you keep going into fight and flight and making all these neurochemicals of fear and saturate your body with all these neurochemicals, then you will get the flu, because you will create that flu, and you'll create that soap to clean it out.
So out of curiosity, Steve, what informational places can you send people to have a look at the current research that you've checked?
So go and look at Bruce Lipton. He's a cell biologist. He's got a book called Biology of Belief as well. Because the other thing as well is your subconscious doesn't know what's true and what isn't. Now, people don't realise that. So if you believe you're going to get it, the chances are that you will come out. Your sympathetic system will come out and have that. So actually, if you believe you're going to get it, the chances are you will. But go and check out Bruce Lipton and Biology Belief. I was also researched. I was speaking to a girl that I know. Her son is studying genetic biology at PhD level. I've already had this conversation with him, and he's just going as mad as I am, because we both know you can't catch viruses. So everyone's going mad thinking they're going to get it, but you can't. Yeah, and it's simple as that.
I just want to point out that I have proof of that, even if you don't believe a virologist. In the last 20 years, I've switched off colds, flus.
Yes, so Professor Bruce Lipton.
Yeah. I've switched off colds, flus, infections, bronchitis, chicken pox. I switched off all these things with people by understanding what Steve says and finding the stress that was causing it and switching it off, and then the body heals very quickly. Yeah. Just by understanding that information. Everything from one of my clients, she had chicken pox. She was due to fly to Washington. She was diagnosed by a doctor she had chicken pox. She had to fly to Washington. I came online, cleared it with her, and 48 hours later she was cleared to fly by the doctor, not by me. Yeah. All the chickenpox had gone and she was okay. Yeah. These things are just a stress-based system coming out, Steve,
and
to heal your body, and I've done it lots.
So
lots.
All I'm going to say is you're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not going to. If you want to believe that you can catch a virus, then you go ahead. You do that. All I'm telling you is what I know to be true, in order to stop everyone going crazy and having all this fear-based programming and believing that they're gonna. Because it's not good on the world, and I care for people so much, and I love people so much, and I don't want to see people that I know and even people I don't know suffering and going through this mental anguish because of something that's just not true. And so
so guys, just all Steve's recommending is you go and check out the other side of it. Go and look at the epigenetics and the Bruce Lipton stuff.
Yeah, go and learn,
and just have a little bit of a common sense look at things.
We're just trying to take the fear out of it as well, because the DTO system doesn't believe in a fear, suffering or victim mentality.
Correct.
At the moment, the whole world is in a fear, suffering and victim mentality because you are all listening to
mainstream
media, which are just, for whatever reason, we don't know. I'm not going to go into that.
Because
we don't know the reason. We're not conspiracy theorists.
But all we're saying is the science is that you cannot. So we're not saying people aren't getting sick or ill, but what we're saying is you cannot catch a virus. It's impossible, and the scientific proof is there. You just won't read about it or hear about it. So go and check out what Steve says.
The problem is they won't. Most people don't go and question that. No. We were talking about it. You don't question anything. Whatever you're told, you will just believe it and react and respond to it. Yeah. And that's what everybody's doing. But man like me, like I said, everything that I've been told by this authority so far has been incorrect every time. So for me, it had to be incorrect this time. So I wanted to go and check it out. I've done the research. I know I've not gone and bought any toilet roll and pasta because I know that I can't catch the virus.
Well, actually, I do need some toilet rolls. I'm running out, but not because not because I'm feeling ill.
The funny thing about it is this virus attacks the bronchial and the breathing system. So why they're buying bog rolls?
I've got no idea.
That's why the world's gone mad. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So like I said, I'm not trying to. You can take my information and do the research yourself. Go and check out Bruce Lipton, Professor Bruce Lipton, and look at his research. And don't believe everything that you're told. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, it's like I said to you, we were talking about favourite sayings earlier, and one of my mentors always says to me, "It's only one man's word." Do you know that to be 110% true?
Yeah.
Have you visited the lab and seen the research and watched them do the petri dish stuff yourself? No, you haven't. So, use a little bit of common sense. Try not to go into mass hysteria, panic.
Everyone's just reacting and responding and just going crazy.
Yeah. So it's only one man's word, so do check it out. Just use a bit of common sense.
So anyway,
the other thing I'll quickly say is that we're trying to dispel the fear and people listening to the fear. Who would you really rather believe? People are trying to instill fear in you, or people are trying to take fear out of you?
Yeah.
Think about it from that point and go, well, wait a minute, do I really want to be in fear? Is this really... Yeah. Or should I just listen to people who are trying to make me feel okay about it?
And do common sense things.
And do common sense, yeah.
Okay, so moving on. So basically I've been working with anxiety. I've had 4 people today, and I literally...
How is anxiety, by the way?
She's all right. She's fine. So I did 4 people today.
Big smile on my face. It's great. Sorry, carry on. 4
people today, and I managed to switch off their anxiety in less than an hour. So they've had it. One girl had it for 8 years, and I got rid of it in an hour. Brilliant. So that's gone. The coronavirus anxiety that happened. I've done that in about 15 minutes because it was just a belief system. And then there was a couple of other anxieties which were associated to breakups and stuff. So I managed to get rid of them all today. All people come with anxiety, gone, switched off. Yeah. So the problem is all these beliefs and stuff out there about anxiety, which is incorrect and keeping people stuck and trapped with it. So, but anyway, that's enough about that right now. I know. So we're now going to bring in the lovely and the marvellous and the awesome Wendy Smith.
Hi.
So hello, Wendy. How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Welcome to the Inside Outfit podcast.
I was just trying to read what's on there.
We can't read it from here.
Hello, Wendy.
It's not even a proper text.
Donna Johnson.
Hey, hi Donna. How you doing?
Do you know Donna?
God, Donna.
Do you know?
Donna.
I went to school with Donna. She was in my year at school.
I work with Donna. I love Donna. I've not seen
great.
Donna.
Hi, Don. Right. Okay. So
I don't know who you are, Donna. Sorry, I have no idea. I apologise. I feel out of the loop.
She was my girlfriend in about second year, I think.
I love Donna.
Yeah, she's a great girl. I saw her at the. I see her out and about sometimes. So yeah, it's a lovely girl. Cracking girl, Don. You're lovely, darling. Right. Anyway,
crack on.
Let's move on.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
Have you fixed this stall? Because I've been getting lower and lower through the whole thing. I feel like I'm in a sitcom sketch, like we're on the Frost Report. Because I'm getting lower and lower down here. What is going on?
I think that one worked a treat, didn't you?
It's like a prank.
We fixed
Pick up.
the stall.
I don't know what to do.
You've got to pull the lever.
Pull the lever.
Right, while they're doing that, I've just got to
there
tell
we
you
go.
guys, they tried to put one of these sign things, like, you know, the put-up banners earlier. 2 men couldn't do it, a lady had to.
No, we couldn't do it.
It was funny.
Sniff. It needed a sniff to sort the banner out.
Right,
Anyway,
okay.
moving on.
The Smithster in the house. Right, so let's bring you in. So how are you?
I'm good, yes.
Brilliant. So before we discuss your book, 50 Ways to Change.
Yep.
So, which is
Front of
here.
book.
Yeah, 50 Ways to Change, which is back to front.
That's a great cover.
50 Ways to
It's
Change.
a great cover.
Yes, we
Yeah.
love the cover.
Yeah, we love the cover.
Love the
do
colour.
love the cover.
Well, before we do that, before we go and talk about your book, obviously, and I've got a signed copy of you, so thank you for that, which you sent me this week, by the way.
Yeah.
So I've not been able to read the whole thing, but I've been able to go through, quite a bit of it
Segments
and
of it,
segments of it and get a good take on what it is. And I think it's a really, really great book. And anybody out there should go and get it because there's so much good teachings and learnings in it. It will benefit you. And I also think there's a benefit to that as well because of what you're doing with the money. But we'll go
Yes.
into that.
Yeah.
So before we go into your book, let's go into asking you about your journey about personal development, really, and
Yeah.
how it all started. And I know you had a really serious accident that pretty much you're on a walking stick or crutch now.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk to the viewers and tell us exactly how your journey started all those years ago and how you've gone from that to where you are now?
Yeah, so I suppose to start with, grew up with a love of cars and motorbikes. My dad, loves cars and motorbikes. He used to be a test driver for a motor company.
Yeah.
So me and my sister grew up driving cars and motorbikes. And on the 1st of September 1989, I was out with one of my best friends on the back of his bike for a change in the evening, and we crashed at stupid speed around the Great Leys back roads, which just resulted in me spending 8 months in hospital with a broken back, spinal cord lesion at T6. So when we came off the bike, Paul got thrown off the bike and I stayed with it, unfortunately, which meant I hit everything. So I ended up with a compression fracture, they call it, of T4 and T5. So 2 vertebrae slammed into each other and sort of squished. And then that put a lesion in the spinal cord. So obviously cut through the spinal cord, paralysed me from the chest down. And then I had a few broken ribs, punctured right lung, fractured skull, and cardiac arrest on the road, apparently. So over the course of 3 days,
Well, you look amazing for it.
Yeah, I know. It's
It's
just
just-
awesome. It's just for being smashed about like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 days of serious trauma for the family. Not so much me because I didn't know anything about it. And then a long, long journey of recovery. 8 months in
8 months in hospital. I mean, that's...
It was a long time. I've got a great family. My sister, my best mate, used to keep me thoroughly amused while I was laying in bed on my back, flat out for 3 months. And they used to play Monopoly on me and stuff like that. I never used to win, funny enough, because I couldn't see the board.
Yeah.
And then after that, sort of buried my head in the sand for a few years after and just went partying because I just didn't really know what to do with life.
Yeah.
Then wanted to know why. So why did mine fix itself?
Yeah.
And that's where the personal development started.
Yeah.
My journey of why.
Your journey of why, same as me. I wanted to know why, and that's, I think, most of us will start off with that.
Yeah.
So what was your introduction to it? Because I know with me, mine was NLP.
Yeah.
I went straight from wanting to commit suicide, and then I went to NLP, and then after that I literally discovered how the mind worked and realised that I'd made all this shit up, but I wanted to know how NLP worked. I wasn't just happy knowing it. I was like, hang on a minute, so how does NLP work? And that's how I've then gone further and further into the depths of it, because I actually want to know how it works. I don't want to just use it as a tool.
Well,
so how was yours?
Mine was similar. So the one thing you've not gone there, obviously I went to a Paralympic Games as a wheelchair basketball player.
So the most important thing, which I forgot about that.
This is the one thing I just, it just happened.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, you was in the Paralympics in
Paralympics
2012.
No, 2004.
2004.
I was in Athens in 2004. I got a suntan while I was out there. So
And that was playing
wheelchair basketball.
wheelchair basketball.
Yeah, so I ended up in that arena. We'll say random events, but nothing's random.
Yeah.
So that happened really quickly. That led me into basketball coaching. How I got into... Mine was NLP as well to start with, but how I got into that... Karen Zarbo, if you're watching this, and Catherine Temple. So a friend of mine, Karen Zarbo, she said to me when, because I had depression, suicidal thoughts, I kept going up and down and was running some proper negative patterns. And she said, just do me a favour, go and do an NLP practitioner course.
Yeah.
And I said, what is NLP? She said, I'm not even going to tell you. Just phone my mate, she's like an enlightened trainer, so she does energy work and all that. Catherine Temple, amazing woman.
Yeah.
So she said, go and see Kath. So I phoned up Kath. I said, when's your next NLP prac? She said, oh, not for 6 months. I said, that's no good. I need it now. Karen has said to phone you. She went, okay, come and do one, one-on-one. And I was like, right, okay then. So I went and did an intensive prac, which was the biggest kick up the arse I've ever had. 7 days of intense.
What, doing NLP?
Yeah.
That's what I did, the 7-day intense. That's what I did.
It was just intensive. Kath would bring other people in to sort of do stuff. And then when I got home, the weird thing happened because I got home after 7 days and thought, shit, my whole life is my fault. So I actually went downhill.
My life is my fault.
I went downhill for 3 days, like, a bit sorry for myself. Like, all of this shit around me is all mine. But then after the 3 days, it's like, right, if I can create that, then now I know how to operate this system. What can I do?
Now what can I create? Yeah. And that was for me. Mine was my big wake up call was all my life is my fault.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with the model, with the Orberg model, when we go below the line, with blame, making excuses and denial, and I think most people are living in that. Most people are in even denial that they've even got any issues or problems, and they just carry on. But my life is my fault is actually probably a really good title for a book.
It is, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That'd be your autobiography.
That'd be my autobiography, yeah. But so that was really key for me, wasn't it? And probably for you, the same thing. We come to realise that we create everything from whatever we're programmed in, which we're going to go into in a minute in your book, which has got some really good bits in there.
But the NLP crack was interesting because once I did that, I thought, oh my God, I love this shit. So I went straight back and did the NLP Masters, and then after that, that's 10 days intensive.
Yeah.
And that's like, wow, this is just a because of what Kath does. That she takes you through. I was smashing planks in half and all sorts of stuff, going like, oh my God. And then after that, I just thought, I need to become a trainer. So then I went and obviously I'm under the Society of NLP, which is Richard Bandler and John Laval. Yeah. So then I went to Brighton and studied to become a trainer under Richard and John and Catherine.
Oh, so you're actually an NLP trainer?
Yeah, I'm a trainer as
wow,
well. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I went the whole hog. I just thought I need to share this with people.
Yeah.
And
I sort of felt, I dropped out because I was like, well, how does NLP work? I was like, I'm not happy. I know it works. How does it work? That was me. So I sort of went off in the...
Yeah, I went up that way and just thought I need to be able to train.
Yeah, I needed to learn about the brain and how it works and how it... So I sort of went off in that direction, and fortunately enough, along my journey, I come across some really, really key in people. So I did stuff with Joe Dispenza, and then I went and...
same as me.
So I did some stuff with him.
Neuroscience.
I went down the whole neuroscience route, and then from then, once I understood that, I realised that even knowing that doesn't change anything. No. So I spent a long time learning the science, and then realised that actually I spent 2 years wasting my time.
Because you just need to apply it.
Because you need to be able to change it, and just understanding the science, when understanding it doesn't change anything. And
you've got to actually do the work and change it.
You've got to actually go in and you actually got to go in and literally change it. Literally change it. Yeah. And then fortunately enough, I did the Reboot programme, and through the Reboot programme I met Jonathan, and then from Jonathan really the rest is history really. Yeah. And I've been working with Jonathan now for probably about 18 months, and we've been working together for about a year. And that's really where that went for me. But yeah, that's why I didn't do because I'm really interested in it, but I sort of wanted to go how it worked. So
I sort of done that afterwards. So mine's been like a back to front journey. So I learned how to train it, then I just using it randomly. Then I ended up working for David Henry's company, 21st Century Legacy, launching schools programs. That's how I became a speaker. Yeah. Then I was coaching athletes. So I was coaching basketball teams. Became a tutor of basketball as well, so I was tutoring coaches because I thought the mindset needs to change. How do I change it? I become a tutor. That's it. And then after that, so probably 10 years I've been working in personal change, like actually as my business. Yeah. And then about 6 years ago I met a chap called Mick Stott who does the spectrum emotional coaching that you guys know. Yeah, yeah. And then that opened me up to the realms of, actually we can recode experience. Recode, yeah. And then through Mick Stott and the training I've done with Mick, and him pointing me in different directions. Then obviously John Phillips, who you've not met. It's very doubtful any of you'll ever see John. He's the elusive John because he's ex-Special Forces, so he's not on any social media. He's actually in this room, disguised as a fridge. You won't what, John? Yeah, he's actually on my website, so if you want to know what John looks like, just go onto Redcastle Consultancy Training page and you'll see John. I think that's the only picture of him anywhere. And the only picture of him smiling as well. Yeah. I can't remember what I was talking about. So, the spectrum stuff led me into that, and that's when I started getting really deep into neuroscience. Yeah. So, I learned all the NLP first, how to train it and teach people how to change their state and, use their brain for change. Brain for a change. Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, the last 6 years has been really going deep into actually how does all this work? Yeah, that's what that's what's led me into the Bruce Lipsons, Joe Dispenzas, Greg Braden. Yeah. But even though I learned all of that, that still ain't enough for me. No, you still want to question it. There's something else under that. You still need a tool or something to do it. And I get that beliefs create your reality, and I get all the belief stuff, but I did a lot of the Joe Dispenza stuff, and I did a lot of the meditation stuff, and it didn't heal anything. And it was only when I met Jonathan and then actually went into recoding the experience or the memory or the belief and actually switching them off or deleting them or removing them, that's when my healing started. Yeah, so I've had some interesting experiences with Joe Dispenza. I went on him and... I'm 50-50 with it. I'm actually going to go and do one of his 7-day retreats because I'm so curious about the stuff. just because
I've done it and it didn't do anything for me.
See, I'm curious enough to just pay out and go and do it because I want to know.
It's a great experience. And whatever it is, you meet some amazing people as well.
Exactly. I like everything's a bit of a journey. It's always good to go and have new experiences and get out your box. Because if you get stuck in your own thing, then I think you screw yourself over. You've always got to keep expanding.
Yeah.
And keep learning. And as we know from the conversations we've had out here.
Yeah.
When I went on the Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden day, it was very interesting because something happened halfway through the day that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
So in one of the meditations, something did actually happen, and I had some weird shifts in my body. And then when I next went up the wood to walk my dog, I'm not sure what it shifted, but all of a sudden I found myself walking, like carrying my sticks, only for 3 paces, and my body felt normal. Then I obviously became conscious of what I was doing.
And then you went back.
And then freaking back to and I was like, right, how do I recreate that? And since then I haven't been able to.
When I
which was really interesting.
Sorry. Yeah, when I went and done that, what I've learned from it, it's understanding that it's getting the heart and head coherence working.
Yeah, see, I do that all day.
And you can get into a gamma brainwave frequency. Yeah. And as soon as you do that, then ultimately you've pretty much sort of entered into a different reality, so to speak. And then what will happen is that's when the healing happens. Yeah. But if you can't get yourself from the beta brain waves to the alpha to the theta to the delta into that gamma, if you can get into the gamma, that's when the miraculous healing starts. And I think if you've got a lot of baggage or a lot of stuff going on in your subconscious, you can't get into that space, can you? And therefore it doesn't really work. It makes it more of
a challenge, and you can probably only hold into it for a little period
Absolutely,
of time. Yeah. So I do find that stuff fascinating.
So I've learned everything all about that. So that's why I went down that route.
He's learned everything. Did you hear this? The overgeneralisation. He's learned everything there is to know.
There is to know.
Yeah. So he's a wise old man.
Yeah.
he just looks young. I look like the old wise man. Yeah. He is the wise man.
So no, but I needed to. That's why I wanted to learn how the brain works and all the rest of it. But then, even though I did and worked with that, and it's still question it. Question it. Like my mentor says, it's only one man's word. Yeah. What do you make of it? Absolutely. Yeah. Now you had this really bad accident. Obviously, what was your injuries? Well, I mean, what?
So people always ask me what you done to your leg. I've done nothing to my legs.
It's actually your spine.
I didn't break anything. It was just my spine and my spinal cord. So obviously, when I had the spinal cord sever, I lost all movement from the chest down. So it just meant that all the muscles wasted away very quickly. And then it's been a matter of it stuck itself back together. No one could tell me why. I know why, because in my head I was still able-bodied. So the body was healing itself happily. And then someone told me you're going to be in a wheelchair and questioned it. So it sort of stuck up. Even though I was going, mate, go away, tell someone else.
Yeah.
You know, I think what they did is they interrupted my healing after about 3 weeks by sticking a thought in there that wasn't one of mine. Because I was quite happy. I'd say, I know I was paralysed. And they'd go, Wendy, you're paralysed. And I'd go, yeah, but I'm fine. And they go, but you're paralysed. But I'm fine. Yeah. It was just the weirdest conversation to have with people.
Yeah.
It really was. And the funny thing is, all my family and friends, and I love you all for this, no one treated me any different. So it's like there's nothing wrong with me. I tell you now, you cannot find one picture, I'm not joking, from 1989 up to about 1999, maybe 2000, you won't find one picture of me with crutches or anything like that. It's really weird. So I'd always be sat down, but they'd be over there and the photo would be. So it's like everything was normal still.
Yeah.
No one treated me any different. Like my mate Penny, I'd say to her, Pen, make a cup of tea. She'd go, don't be such a lazy cow, go and do it yourself. So I'd be bouncing through the house, chucking me tea everywhere.
Great.
And they'd just laugh at me, but no one treated me any different.
That was a help.
And
it was a help.
And that's very important for belief systems, because when people try, I know I've shrunk again. I know it's been going down slowly, lower and lower. That's why I've just sat here and been quiet, because I feel like I'm a midget.
We should be reading this really. No one's commenting at the moment. That's good.
No, that's right. But it's very important for belief systems. So because Wendy wasn't made to feel like something was different, her brain didn't tell her anything was different, so her body didn't know anything was different. So she started to heal.
Yeah.
And that's very important. A lot of people, when they're injured or they're sick or they're ill, their brain tells them, there's something wrong, it's bad, because that's what everyone's taught. But because Wendy didn't have that, she's healed a lot of it and is on the way to full recovery.
People would still walk off. I mean, my sister still does it now. Penny still does it. They'll walk off having a conversation with me, and I'll be back here somewhere, and they'll be chatting, and they'll go, oh, like, all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's because I'm back there on my walking sticks. It's like, yeah, guys, I have a slow speed at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I know, look, cracking on. So you also recently did a TED Talk, or you've done a TED Talk?
Oh, God, the TED Talk was ages ago.
Yeah.
I want to say somewhere about, I'm a bit of a timeless being, so somewhere about...
Just say you've just done a TED Talk.
I did a TEDx Talk about 6 to 8 years ago. Right. Something like that.
And what was that about?
That was about... perceptions. So the power of positive affirmation. I can, I can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
Whatever your direction you're giving here.
Whatever you can and whatever you can't, it'll always be true.
That's it. You're never wrong. Whatever you think, you're not wrong ever.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're really not.
Yeah.
So it just was a talk on that, really.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what a TEDx talk was either when I did one. I'd never really watched any. And it was how that came about, there was a girl who was on one of the coaching courses I did, and I coach basketball a bit different. So when I'm tutoring, they get NLP. They get to know
NLP,
about, tone of voice, body language, thoughts, how they're creating stuff.
Yeah.
And she absolutely loved it, and she was at Plymouth Uni. And one of her mates was organising the TEDx event, and they were looking for speakers, and she went, "Oh, perfect person.
And that's how you got...
Give Wendy a shout." And so they gave me a shout, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come down and do a talk. I think that's lovely." Yeah.
Great.
So I did.
So you did. Okay, cool. Well, look, I know we've got about 25 minutes left, so now let's talk about you and your book. I think there's somebody just asking here what neuro-linguistic programming is.
Oh,
what NLP was. It's neuro-linguistic programming for anybody that's watching.
It's the language of your brain.
Language of your brain, yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is your book that you've recently written or released. It's called 50 Ways to Change by Wendy. Wendy wrote this book, and like I said, I've received it this week, and I've gone through it, and there's some really, really great bits in it, like I said. If just go and get it, or contact you, or however you're going to get the book. Amazon.
Get on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Go get it.
So go and get the book. So I've been going through here, and so what was the intention of the book? I mean, what was the?
Right.
Why did you? What was the goal? What made you write the book?
This came about first of all in Vegas. So I was out at a GoPro conference with a mate of mine. I was waiting for her in Starbucks in the morning, and I was bored. So I thought I'll write a book. And I'd already had the name of it in my head for years, so I just wrote the name down and just started writing, what would this be? And it's basically 50 of my favourite bits of awareness-raising information that made me aware, because if you're not aware, you can't change anything.
No,
anyway.
we're exactly just going to go to that.
So it's awareness-raising information that maybe it's stuff you don't know. And then I thought, when I actually finally wrote this last year, like properly, I thought, what can be the difference between this and all the books I've read? Because I've read, same as yourselves, hundreds of personal development books, and they've all been absolutely great. However, they've left out the one bit, which is how to apply
how
it
to do it. That's right.
I thought the difference with this one
right.
then, I'm going to give you all the information to make you aware, and then the second part of the book, I'm going to give you loads of exercises so you can pull apart your map of reality, basically, and apply it to life.
Yeah.
So it's like sitting down having a performance coaching session.
I really like that bit at the back. So you've got the 50 ways to change, or the 50 models or beliefs or things, and whatever you want to call them. And then at the back you've got like a little workbake which you can then go and apply what you've sort of picked up in the first 50 to whatever it is you want. And I really like that. It's really good. So as I was going through this, and we just spoke about this, one of the first key elements here is awareness is key to change and start becoming aware. And for me, everything really started for me when I started becoming aware, because I think most of us are asleep and we're in denial most of the time, or we go through blaming or making excuses. It's my boss, it's my partner, it's my ex, it's my mum, it's my dad, like we all do. But actually, it's becoming aware of what it is that's causing your problems. And I think the awareness, becoming aware of it is a start.
Well, if you think of awareness, we're just a string of habits. That's all you guys are. You're a string of habits.
And programs.
And my simple example of this is, if any of you are dressed now, you've got a program for getting dressed. If you know how to drink a cup of tea, you've got a program for drinking tea. If you drive a car, you've got a program for driving a car. You do not have to wake up in the morning, open a manual and go, right, how do I put my socks on? Because once you've learnt something and you've done it enough times, it becomes part of your system programming. The only thing that we're not aware of, because we're not taught this stuff in schools, is it's not just that, it's your emotions, your beliefs. Every memory you've ever had has to be stored so your human system can validate your experience and show you how to behave.
That's right.
So all of your prior behaviours and learnings, they're stored as well. So if you're getting up and you're getting angry in the morning and you don't know why, it's because you've got a shitload of storage full of anger that when you wake up and you think about something, which is your trigger, and you generate anger, your unconscious has got to validate it. It goes, hang on, I'm sure I've got a load of that in storage. And it keeps pulling it back to allow you to then create the habit again and the behaviour and away you go.
This is what myself and Jonathan talk about, is that people believe that's who they are.
They're not an
and
angry
it's not
person.
no,
It's
but
the
they think
behaviour
they're
you're
an angry
doing.
but they
person.
think
I
that's
know.
who they are. They
Yeah.
think, well, this is who I am, and they go through their life acquiring all of these new experiences. And anger breeds more breeds more anger, and they fill up like this rucksack. But they actually think it's who it is, and then they can't change it. Which comes on to the next bit, which is like, if it's not working, change it.
Yeah.
And like my strapline in all my posts is change or nothing will change, and that is really key. So, do you want to just elaborate on that?
So, this is, we've got so many sayings, haven't we? The Einstein one of madness is the definition of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, you're not a tree, you can move. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Can I?
You know, you can.
In my case, I'm just moving down.
You're just going
I'm just going down all the time, so it's not
Why don't you
good.
lift up?
I have done multiple times. You just not
You've
noticed
got the weirdest chairs,
that
though.
I'm doing it.
These two are mine too. Yeah.
This is a bouncy chair.
Yeah, I had to borrow that one.
Yeah, this
Because I've
is
only got
hard.
two. There's only me that lives here, you
Yes,
see.
you don't really care.
I don't really. I'm
Okay,
spoiled
now I'm
for two
higher
chairs.
than you both. What is going on?
Stay there.
Seriously, I'll level out at some point, won't
Just
I?
think in a minute.
So change if it's not working.
If it's not working, change it. You know, this is the thing. If you've done something 8 times and it's not working, at what point are you going to realise that is not working and do something different?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bloody rocket science, is it?
I know. I find this the problem with. I have a lot of people that come to me. They've been going counselling. I said, "How long have you been counselling?" I've been doing it 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And what's the? Nothing's changed.
How do you feel
so
about
why
the
do
depression?
you keep?
What are you? If you're still depressed after 6 months and you're going for counselling to not be depressed and you're still depressed, or if you're on antidepressants and it's 15 years in, at what point are you going to go, this is not working?
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
It's not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, so the next bit that which I picked out was another thing which I'd done on a post a few months ago, which was you've got it here. Are your crew on board with your captain? And mine is that basically if you haven't set an intention, then you're basically a ship without a captain. So if you haven't got any idea of where you're going, you're just getting up and just going through just a routine thing, then you've got no direction. Your brain is not working or functioning in a way to find a route or a path to get you somewhere. And so you're basically just a ship without a captain. Your brain is just operating without any intention or any direction.
We were talking about this one again, and it's one of those things. You've got something called a reticular activating system in your head.
Yeah.
We call it the RAS. You know, threats
out on the RAS.
Out on the RAS, mate.
Yeah.
Threats and opportunities, that's all it looks for. So years ago, it used to look for, can I eat it or is it going to eat me?
Yeah.
That was pretty much as simple as it gets. Nowadays, it pays attention to your thought stream, what's important. So if you never set a goal, it's got nothing to look at and it will just listen to the random thought stream and bring you more of that. So if you're thinking everything is rubbish in your life and that's all going to go wrong, guess what your RAS is going to find you if you don't set a direction for something else, whether it's a thought stream or it's goals.
Yeah.
So if you're not setting goals as well, this is why people get so unfulfilled in life.
Yeah.
Because they never sit down and go, actually, in 10 years, where do I want to be?
Yeah.
What direction do I want to give my sat-nav to start walking me towards it?
The other problem I have is people set their goals based on what they think their parents or their friends
Or
want,
what
or what
they
they think they want, and they spend all their life getting there. And when they get there,
"Oh,
the most
shit, I don't want that."
unfulfilled. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, it's not what I wanted. I see
that's
that
just
as
where
well.
social media, it's great for when we're doing stuff like this, but social media is terrible for this because a lot of people will set their goals based on what they think other people think they should be doing.
Exactly.
Not actually, I always say when people, right, for you guys that are self-employed, this is a little tip. Can I just share my cheese analogy?
You share your cheese analogy.
Right, so this is how it works. I don't call myself a coach or anything like that. I'm a personal development mentor. I like to separate myself from the pack for the simple fact that so many people have had a meltdown when I say what I do. And I say to them, like I go into a room, I did yesterday, and there was a few coaches in there, and I just saw as soon as I started talking that they were just shutting down because it's competition. And I always say there is no competition for what you do because you're you and you're unique.
Yes, right.
It's like frickin' cheese.
Yeah.
Some people like Stilton, some people like Brie, and some people like a bit of cheddar. Now, not everyone's going to like mine. No, this gets worse. Some people are not going to like...
My brain went somewhere else.
I know.
Sorry, yeah,
Some people are not going to like my cheddar.
No.
But they might like your Brie.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, so that means, so just think about it like that. Whatever you do, just focus on you.
I've lost focus right now.
Yeah, John, I'm off.
So I'm going to stop these guys, but just focus on you,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So that's all it is. It's focus on what are you good at and what are you talented at and what do you bring to the world? What do you bring to the party? What value do you give other people?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is
100%.
your value? Not what value you think you're lacking compared to that person over there, because that person is not you.
Yeah.
You're you. Start bloody focusing on you.
Yeah, we all come to this world with a unique set of talents and skills, and we should embrace that, but we don't. We're too busy trying to
be someone else,
and then wonder why our lives don't work, or trying to impress other people for what we try and impress other people for what they want in their life, and all of a sudden we're like, what am I doing? I'm trying to impress you for what you have, and then you're like, you strip. I mean, I see it all the time, but anyway,
it's my terms it as a pissing contest.
It's a pissing competition. Yeah, exactly.
So when you start this and they go that, you go, oh yeah, well I've this, and now I need to change what I'm doing to compete with that. No, it's cheese.
Yeah,
not everyone likes the same cheese.
It's coming back to be. It's about
I
having.
I don't like cheese at all.
Do you not? Well, it could be like ham, different types of ham.
Okay, great, fine.
We're in with ham.
Okay, we're in with the ham.
I'm in ham. Yeah.
It's a bit like, so ultimately, it's a bit like the whole, just basically, if you're authentic and you have integrity about yourself, you really can't go wrong.
That's it, yeah. So just be true to you, that's it. Follow your values. If someone questions your values, that's okay, because that's theirs.
Yeah.
It's not about you. So I get trolled quite a bit. Sometimes I got trolled today, actually, it was quite funny, so I quite enjoyed the experience. Yeah. And I just think that's okay. It's not flagged me up, so I've got no issues around it. That's theirs. That's okay. You can have that opinion. Away you go. Crack on. Have a great life. I'm not going to be horrible to you. Just follow you. Follow you and be you.
So, I know the next one doesn't apply to podcasts, obviously.
No.
It doesn't apply to podcasts, but this one is, do you listen or are you just waiting to talk? Or are you just waiting to respond? So that's a really great one as well.
I mean, and this is as well. This one, I think this one became so poignant for me after going networking. Yeah. So I don't know if any of you guys ever go networking, and if you go to the networks where you have to stand up and talk about yourself for 60 seconds, it just makes me laugh. I've told people I was a unicorn farmer at some point, and I swear to God,
no one believed you.
No one noticed though. So that farming you do, Wendy, what was that? I went unicorns afterwards, and they went, you know when someone comes back to reality and they're like, unicorns, I was like, yeah, I obviously don't. But in these networks, you can see that people are sitting there and they're staring at you listening, but they're not listening. In their head, they're running what they're going to say. Yeah. Yes. And this happens when you have conversations. How many of you actually truly sit and listen to the person who's talking to you? Put your phone down, stop staring at the telly, picking your nails, daydreaming, and truly listen to the words.
Stop playing Candy Crush.
Yeah, just
on his phone.
Listen to the words that person is saying, so you really are engaged with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a trigger.
So none of us are going to talk now.
No, I was waiting for you to finish. I was listening.
Yeah, exactly. What did I say?
Intently.
I was listening intently.
I'm a unicorn farmer.
It actually comes down to one of my favourite sitcoms. It's a sitcom called Home James on British TV many years ago, and it was about this guy who was like a cheeky chappy chauffeur, and he went to work for this boss who was a proper businessman, and he said to him, "Son, let me give you a piece of advice. Listen more. That's why God gave you 2 ears and only 1 mouth."
Yeah, 2 ears and 1 mouth.
That's true.
And that's always stuck with me. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Yeah. And I've been guilty of doing that in the past, of not listening and trying to get my word in. But I always think now that's why God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah, that's very true. So use your 2 ears and not your 1 mouth.
Yeah, but most people, when they hear something, they'll get triggered.
Depends what you're doing.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm talking about conversation. I know where you went. I'm not.
I was there.
Yes, me as well.
He was there.
Okay, this is the wrong show, folks. Carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, so what happens is generally someone will, when they're talking, their brain's firing off all the time and they're reacting, and as soon as that happens, they're shut down. They're not. They don't want to hear anything you say or even process the information properly. They're just waiting to respond.
Yeah.
So that was a really key thing for me.
Miscommunication. This is what leads a lot to miscommunication. If you're not truly listening, then you're going to reply from your map. And what happens is, because our brain filters information at a staggering rate. I mean, they reckon it's 40 billion bits of information a second nowadays. Right, it's ridiculous. Your conscious brain can only...
Can do 7 or 9 bits or something ridiculous,
isn't it? Segments. It processes 2,000, but it does it in segments. So you can't multitask. It just does it in segments of 7 or 9. So you imagine what you're missing. Out of 40 billion bits of information a second, you can only process 2,000. You're missing so much already because of your filters that have to filter it down. Yeah. So if you're not paying attention, you're going to be answering a question someone didn't ask you. Which gets me into, exactly, innuendo bingo happens.
Exactly, yeah.
Just like,
I'm hoping
just like this evening.
Yes.
I'm hoping everyone at home now just gone.
Yeah.
That's it. You're all
I'm
listening.
really listening to what we're about to say next.
There's people watching. I'm not going to say.
The funny thing is, right, is even if they are really listening to us, we're just going to repeat something. It says doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Man, they go, he's already just said that.
Yes.
So we won't go there.
We've done that one.
Moving on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was another good one for me. Was not forgiving is the equivalent of wanting to poison someone else but drinking the poison yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm very much just like injecting poison, expecting somebody else to get the pain.
Yeah.
And that's why I set that out, because.
And the reason for that is the chemicals, isn't it?
The chemicals.
So the neurochemicals you run when you're in that state of hate, spite, resentment, all of those feelings, you're running neurochemicals which really aren't very good for your body.
No, they create flus and viruses.
Yeah,
that's what they basically do.
I'm not going back to that.
So just put that out there.
The whole point of the word disease is it's disease in your body.
Yeah.
And not forgiving someone. And you don't have to go. This is what I always say. You don't have to go up to the person and go, right, I know you've done this, that, but I forgive you. You just say it in your own head, imagine them, and just go, I let you go and forgive
Yeah, but
them.
I think a lot of people think that I think you can forgive, but still not ever go back into that situation.
Yeah, have your boundaries.
Have your boundaries.
Yeah.
So, for example, if someone's upset you, like I was telling you, I had millions of pounds stolen off me and all this.
Yeah.
Now, I've let that go, and I don't have any resentment towards it, even if it's absolutely crippled my life. But I've had to forgive it, because otherwise,
it's absolutely
it's done. It's absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah.
But me holding on to that meant I was just continually destroying myself. Exactly. So I had to let go of that. I'm not going to say when I see them again, go, okay, hey, let's jump back into business, and it's not going to happen.
No.
But the fact that I've been able to just switch that off and let that go means I'm not running those neurochemicals, it's not aging me, and it's not making me sick, and it's not making me ill, and it's allowing me now to see my life not through that filter, and it opens up whole new different opportunities for me. I wouldn't have met this guy and be doing what I'm doing had I still been carrying on and holding that resentment.
On that tip as well, just while we're in there, because there's something we spoke about earlier. So Steve was just saying about neurochemicals. If you're running the negative ones, you're making yourself ill.
Yeah.
They're aging. Yeah. They're immune lowering, their brain function slowing down chemicals. If you just check out Greg Braden and Heart Coherence.
Yeah.
So Heart Coherence, Greg Braden, and start doing the Heart Coherence meditation. I'm going to say no more about it, but when you get into a state of heart coherence, it actually pumps you full of 1,200 chemicals that are anti-aging, immune system boosting, brain function supporting.
The funny thing is there's a picture of me on my wall, and everybody comes round here, and I've got a picture of when my boy was christened when he was 2.5, and I look younger now than I did in that photograph, which was 6 years ago.
Now you use
I've actually aged, and so I do that, but also the switching off all of the stuff has de-aged me. I look a completely different person. Yeah. And when we do our talks, he gets the photo out. He gets the photo out.
This is Steve now.
This
is how he looked. He's an axe murderer in this photograph.
Yeah.
And this is him now. Big cut Teddy.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of difference. It's probably only about 2 years difference between it. But it looks like
it's mad. The chemicals. Have you seen someone who has trauma? I've seen people literally age by 20 years overnight because they've had trauma.
But you can reverse that. People don't understand that.
Yes, you can.
As soon as you switch off all your negative stuff, you start getting...
The other thing I'll say, what Wendy said about forgiveness is there was an article on Facebook recently that scientists have now stated that a lack of forgiveness actually contributes to cancer.
It does, because it's also any toxic. I mean, if you look at Bruce Lipton's research on epigenetics, he states that your internal and external environment has a direct effect on, obviously, your at a cellular level, and it will switch.
My friend Mike, the 90s pumped me with chemicals. Pumped everyone with chemicals, mate. In the 90s, I'm pretty sure about it. He's not wrong though. He can't lie. He's not lying.
Early 90s were the best times to go raving anyway.
It was, they were the best times.
I'm too young. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I'm younger than
it was the best time to raving, but not the best time in my life. I can tell you that.
No, but good parties.
Yeah,
I was sat on bed with milk and cow pulp.
That doesn't surprise me. Right, moving on to the next part of the book. So, we're swiftly moving on because I know
we've got 7 minutes.
We've got 7 minutes.
7 minutes. We'll get the whole book in 7 minutes.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
We're speed reading.
So it's okay to ask for help. Successful people create this habit, and one of the big things I don't see is people asking for help.
Yeah, I was always told you never know unless you ask, and if you don't ask, you don't get. So it's one of those things, and that's taken me a long time with business as well. I made so many mistakes that actually I could have just phoned someone up and gone, I've got a bit of a problem, what do I do? And they'd have told me.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things, if you get stuck with anything, just ask someone. Anyone, ask any of us. You're welcome to hit us up on Facebook and we'll answer any questions that we think we might know the answer to.
I think the biggest thing, and it comes back to
what I said, think might know the answer.
Think we might know the answer
exactly.
But I think the anchor that sits underneath all of this is guilt and shame.
Yeah.
People feel so guilty and so ashamed that they actually probably don't step out to it, and it stops them from doing it.
Well, they often feel guilt and shame they don't know the answer.
Yeah.
That's what it is, because as adults, for some reason, think
we should
they
know
should know everything.
Because
we're an adult.
I do.
Yeah,
you should know it.
Apart from you, obviously, who actually does know everything.
Get out of it.
But a lot of adults, they actually don't know everything.
No.
He's the only one.
No, it doesn't.
And Donald Trump. But apart from everyone else, they're the only two people who know everything.
Yes, we know.
But all of us mortals over here, me, Wendy, and everyone else watching this, and everyone around the world, us mortals, we don't know everything.
Yeah.
And we're not. Are you laughing at the fact that I just correlations with Donald Trump? Is that what you're laughing
No,
at?
I was laughing the way you was mocking me.
Mocking you, okay. I did. It's my stall going up and down. I feel like to get some mocking in at some point.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. It's funny.
When I was down there, I didn't feel like I could mock. When I'm up here, I really feel like I can mock you. And
you are doing a very great job of it right now, and I'm very grateful for it.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm going to forgive you because I want to de-age.
Yeah.
I don't want to age overnight. So
on this note as well, this has been, we were talking about this earlier, so this for me has been very poignant lately because of what I'm learning to do. If I'm not asking questions, I lose money.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
and the person who's teaching me, it must be like torture for him sometimes, but he said to me, any question is not a stupid question, Wendy, because I don't care if you ask me 45 times the same question until it becomes known knowledge to you, because obviously you're playing with your money.
Yeah.
And it's important. So ask the question. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can't, just come see one of us and we'll get rid of the guilt.
And don't
guilt and shame.
Yeah, don't carry all your stuff around with you and think it's just shame. It's just silly because you're just making yourself ill, and actually there's no shame in actually wanting to be a better person. That's what I learned. And so anyway, so we're getting near the end of the podcast. So there's two areas in the back of the book in the work bit, which I think is really great. One of them is called belief busting. Yeah. And beliefs are basically the cause of all your problems, and it's as simple as that.
And all of your successes as well.
And all your successes, but they also cause of all your problems. And so, if you're trying to develop and getting rid of the bad beliefs is obviously an important thing, and sustaining the good ones as well.
So business as well. This is very important. What Steve's brought up. People who are trying to move forwards in business, they might get to a certain point and then they run a behaviour and go around this hamster wheel of this loop, because at some level they might believe they're limited financially. So,
press resume. It's paused. Press resume. Oh, I don't know what happened there.
You've got no idea. I had to
dear.
Lost it. You know why? You talked about business, and everyone in business went, no,
not having it.
Their guilt and shame kicked in and cut out the energy.
Yeah, so business very important. If you're trying to upscale and you're not able to upscale because you're running what I call the hamster wheel loop, so you get to a certain point and then boom, you're back down here again. It's because at some level you do not believe that you can achieve the next step up.
Yeah.
That's when you really need to get a bit of help to get rid of those beliefs, and that's where we work as performance coaches.
Yeah.
So it's not just about therapy. It's if you're getting stuck in your business, it's probably because there's a belief that limits you from going up a level. So very important to get them cleared out so you can keep going up the next level and up the next level and progressing.
In Gay Hendricks' book, The Upper Limit, he calls it the upper limit problem.
Yeah.
You have an upper limit, you hit a ceiling, and you just spring yourself back down again because you think that's all you deserve.
Well, this is a conversation, Jonathan and I are in conversation about this at the moment, because Jonathan's doing a bit of work for me, because I seem to have hit a level that we're not quite sure what it is. It's a bit of a weird one to untangle, isn't it? Yeah. And we're just untangling. I've hit an upper limit of some description. So at the moment we're just working on untangling my upper limit. Yeah.
Okay, and so the last bit in the book is the trigger driver behaviour, which is very key and very important, because basically I think all of our behaviours are triggered. So and so we were talking about that in the front room just a minute ago. So.
Yeah, so emotions and beliefs basically sit in the driver category. Everything around you is a trigger for experience. And it can be a positive or negative trigger. And all that means is you'll see something, hear something, say something to yourself, or feel something, that's your trigger. And then you'll get a driving emotion that leads into a belief, and then you run a behaviour. You can have a lot of successful ones that make you feel really good, and away you go, and then you get proper limiting ones.
Yeah, I mean, I say in the thing I do in my talk that all beliefs drive behaviours.
They do. Everything you do has to be based on a belief.
Exactly. So all beliefs drive behaviours, and so, this what I like about this is identifying the trigger. It's the trigger-driven behaviour. It's a sort of another level deeper than that.
Well,
which I sort of like.
It's the emotional bit in the middle. Triggers are everywhere. So in my world, to get rid of all your triggers is going to take me such a long time. So the tools that I learned from Mr. Stop were we get rid of the driver in the middle, and when we don't get rid of it, actually we recode it, we change it into something else, so it's a positive driver, which means you no longer have the old negative responses, so you can just change behaviour, like literally, like you guys do.
Switch it off
there and
literally,
then.
Okay, great. Well, look, so we're going to sort of shut up shop now. So if you really are interested in finding out more about Wendy, if you more about Wendy,
Vicky now.
Vicky, seriously.
Right, if you want to find out more about Vicky's book, then make sure you go onto Amazon. It's called 50 Ways to Change. 49 Ways to Change.
50 Ways to Change Wendy Smith.
50 Ways to Change
I didn't
Wendy
put by on there.
So if you want to change Wendy,
in 50 ways,
there's a book on how to do it. So if you go and get it, it's 50 Ways to Change, and so. Oh,
the point of the book, the bit we didn't say. So everybody who buys this book, you're actually contributing to people that can't afford sessions. So PTSD, ex-soldiers, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So the profits from the book, they don't just go into funding Wendy's lifestyle,
do really.
which is obviously eating tortilla wraps in the afternoon. It's not just funding my lifestyle. The profits actually go into funding sessions for people that can't afford to have the work done. So it's as simple as that. Right. I just thought, put your money where your mouth is. People can't afford it. I can't find funding for them, so stuff it, fund it yourself.
Which I think is a shame, because what we do is life changing, and people would need it, and if they can't afford it, I mean, quite often I chuck out some free sessions, and I do that. I have to do that for people that can't have it. Yeah. But so anyway, so that's a really, really great reason to go and get the book. The book's full of some really great information. I love it. It's got loads of really positive information in there. It's got a great work bit at the back, so anybody that's new to personal development, you can use the workbook to do that. And obviously any money or profit from the book is helping people get treatments and get better.
And it's got an awesome picture on the back.
And it's got an awesome picture on the back. So anyway, so we're going to. So thank you for sharing your story.
Pleasure.
I know that
thanks for coming along. We appreciate that.
We had to get a lot of information in within that hour. So, but I'm sure maybe we can have you back another time. We can talk about
do
something else.
We'll have a cheese and wine evening.
We'll have a cheese and wine evening. So Jonathan's not invited because you don't like cheese.
I don't like wine. So I'll
cheese, ham and vodka.
I'll have a plate and a glass of 70. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That sounds good. I'll enjoy it. I look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
You'll also get a stall that just goes really low, won't you? And brilliant.
So anyway, so thank you very much for joining us. So just to let you know that unfortunately, like I said earlier on about this corona nonsense, that the business expo that we were meant to be doing on Wednesday has been cancelled, along with everything else out there. That's why I had to mention and talk about today, because it's just ridiculous.
So what we're going to do instead on Wednesday is have a business expo in the kitchen.
In my kitchen, yeah. So you're welcome. Join us on Facebook Live.
Come round and cough in a kitchen. We don't mind. You can cough all over us.
I don't care.
The amount of my clients who come to me and they go, I was really worried about coming today because I've got a cough. I was worried about you getting it.
No.
And I'm like, I will never catch it ever in a million years. You're totally fine. I have to explain this to them. And they look at me like I'm nuts.
I know.
I've never caught anything off anyone in my life.
So the offer is for Wednesday morning. If anyone wants to be a part of a business Facebook Live business expo, to get in contact with Steve.
Come and get in touch with me. We'll organise it.
We'll take money at the door.
Yeah.
And we'll organise it here.
Yeah, that'll fund our cheese and wine night. So we have on Monday night, this Monday coming. If you haven't seen, we've got our Law of Attraction event, where we basically talk about how and why the law of attraction isn't working, which is what Jonathan does, and I will literally be doing a whole model of how the brain grows, develops, and how your thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions create your reality. And I'll do that in a nice model and explain that, and then we'll answer any questions that you might have regarding the law of attraction and how that works. That's always been a successful event. We normally have 30 or 40 people there. I know there's some tickets still left remaining. Go to Eventbrite or go to my Facebook page or Jonathan's Facebook page, and you can get tickets there. Other than that, we're going to probably hang up now. The next edition is the birthday edition. I'm going to call it the birthday edition because our 25th episode, And it's my birthday.
And he's going to be
It's my
25.
birthday. I'm going to be 25. So,
25 years old.
so that's in 2 weeks' time. So that'll be the 28th of March. Be sure to tune into that. And obviously we'll have maybe have another guest, or we'll be talking maybe about more coronavirus. I don't know, or whatever it is. But we'll have something really interesting. There'll be another thing. Yeah,
we're going to get so trolled after this.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, so look, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Thanks for joining us. We really, really appreciate you joining in and listening. Please take the information that we shared with you. Take it away, go away, use it. Look into further how to develop in yourself. Don't buy into this whole nonsense, and don't live in fear, because we really don't want you living in fear. We don't want you to make yourself feel.
What do we want?
I don't know what I want.
What do we want them to do?
Well, what do you want them to do?
What do we want them to do? We want you to
go and buy your book.
Be happy. Buy my book.
Be
Be happy. Go and have some fun. Hug your friends. Hug your family, and think about the awesome future you want to have.
Yeah. I've got to find myself a partner first before that happens. So anyway,
we're working on
we're working on it. Jonathan is now spoken for. John's found himself a lovely young lady.
Yes. So.
Not that you're jealous of that at all.
No, not at all.
No.
I'm going to sabotage it on Monday night. Anyway, guys, look, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, or in a fortnight's time. We really want to thank you, Wendy, for coming along. So say thank you. And Jonathan.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Let the fear go, please. As Wendy says, we just want to experience love and happiness. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and if you want to hit us up, do you want to tell them your website? Have you got a website?
Yeah, wendysmith.me.uk. Not that I've got a big ego or anything like that. Email coachwen72@gmail.com.
Great, and you can find Jonathan's on. Do you want me to do it?
www.decodingpain.com.
Wow.
And you can email me at jonathan@decodingpain.com as well.
Yeah, also you can get us on inside-out-foul. Inside Out Effect at co.
Don't email Steve, he can't speak.
I can't even speak.
Can't speak. No, just email me.
Yeah, inside both of these guys. And you can find me on healingthemind.co.uk, and you'll find myself and Jonathan on inside-outeffect.co.uk. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us anywhere, really. We're out there.
If you'd like to join Wendy's and Steve's wine and cheese night, you can find them at wendyandsteve.cheese.wine .novirus.co.uk, and they'll gladly let you into their secret covenant.
Great. Right, okay, with all that nonsense out of the way, we want to say thank you again and good night. Take care now.
Bye. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, do you want to do that?
I'm just going to press the button. Bye, Craig. Lovely to see you. There you go.